A few years ago, I took Drawing 101 at the local community college. And the lessons I learned in that class have so profoundly changed my life that I have wanted to put them together in an episode. And today, that's what we're going to discuss. Hello and welcome. My name is Danette Lowe, and this is Shine First Today, where we help you learn how to follow your own internal guidance system. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Danette here. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the 7 life lessons that I learned in the Drawing 101 class I took several years ago. We're going to talk about things like taking time to care for yourself and do something for yourself that you enjoy. We're going to talk about our energy and how it's possible to raise our own vibration. And I'm going to save the very best life lesson for last. I'm going to talk about what I learned each week when our instructor gave his weekly critiques and how important what I learned is in my life. In 2016, I went to a spiritual retreat in Sedona, Arizona. And the night before the event, I took a class, and it was kind of like a guided meditation. And during the meditation, I had the most beautiful, life-changing images come into my mind. And when I got back to my room that night, I really wanted to capture those images in my journal. And as I looked at the pictures that I tried to draw in my journal and compared them to the imagery I had in my mind's eye, I realized that drawing was absolutely a skill I did not possess. It was horrible. It was so deflating. I had been, so excited about thinking about these images and wanting to transfer them in. And yes, I wrote my notes in the story, but I wanted to have pictures of them. And I was thinking about in the movies when you see someone drawing in a journal and they have all of these beautiful illustrations. And of course, I'm comparing myself to, professional artists on movies, and comparing yourself's not a good idea to begin with. But I thought there's got to be something I can do to improve. Like there's got to be some principles of drawing that somebody could teach me so that at least it would be a little bit better than when I wanted to take what I was thinking and put it onto the paper. So after doing a little bit of research, I found our local college was offering a Drawing 101. It was for the full semester. I think it was 16 weeks. And it was Thursday afternoon from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And we'll talk about the timing of that in just a minute. And here are the seven life lessons that I learned from taking that art class. So that's lesson number 1, carving time out of my schedule to do something fun for myself. Normally, I work on Thursday afternoon from 2 to 5, and it was a big commitment to make to take that much time off during the week. It would have been very easy to not take that time into my schedule. I could have missed classes or skipped classes, but I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I went. You should have seen me on the first day. I was like Buddy the Elf asking everybody, "What's your favorite color?" And I was super excited to be there. And I'm so glad that I took that class because of all the things that I learned. But the lesson number 1 was taking the time to begin with. And it had paid off with such wonderful rewards. So lesson number 2 is you can raise the energy in a room. So, like I said a second ago, I was really excited to be in this class, but not everybody felt the same way that I did. A lot of people were ticking off the boxes and taking an art class as part of their requirement. And a lot of people had other classes and other things going on in their lives, and they weren't initially quite as excited as I was. And so one of the things I noticed is that my excitement for being there, which really was just pure joy to be there, even though I knew nothing about drawing and I was just so open to this experience, it sort of rubbed off on the other students in the room. They started to get more excited and happier to be there as time went on. And each week when I would come into class, I was like the room mother, I'd go around and say, "What'd you do? What'd you do? And how'd your drawing come out this week?" And it was such a fun thing to see, um, initially where everybody was kinda kind of low, kind of mellow, to within a couple of weeks, we were all really getting along really well. There's a lot of different ages in the classroom, and it was really fun to see that energy rising in the room, and that was really a cool experience. Lesson number 3 for me is realizing about myself that I am a lifetime learner. When we think about the big questions in life, like, why am I here? What is my purpose? One of the things that always comes to my mind is that I'm here to learn and to teach. And being in the class and just realizing that I am here to learn and how much enjoyment and pleasure I get from the learning process. And if I look at my pattern in my life, some of the patterns in my life is every time I want to do something new or try something new, I'll take a class, I'll read a book. When I wanted to learn how to knit, I sat with a private instructor and had someone teach me how to knit. When I wanted to learn how to meditate, I took a class in meditation. And all of those things are so important to kind of expanding who we are and what the things that we know and the people we meet as we go on those journeys. So, knowing that I am a lifetime learner and wanting to also teach, and that opposite side of the coin where we first have to learn how to do something. And then after a while, we learn how to do it, then we can start teaching. I think that's what I'm trying to do here with this YouTube channel. This isn't my only one. I also have a retirement planning YouTube channel called Ready to Retire and podcast. Right now, I'm currently focused on scaling my business because I have 2 of them now. I am reading books, I'm watching YouTube channels, I'm listening to podcasts, and it absolutely fills my soul with joy to be learning and to be a lifetime learner. Lesson number 4, drawing from observation is incredibly relaxing. Each week, our instructor gave us a subject and we had to draw from observation. We had a pad of paper that was 18 by 24 inches. So it was pretty good size. And we drew from observation. One time it was a pair of shoes. One time it was a pine cone. One time it was a paper bag. The act of drawing something from observation, it's so meditative, it's so relaxing, and it's so enjoyable that it's something that you can do anytime. If you're feeling stressed out, anytime you can sit down and just scribble and just look at something wherever you're sitting. One of our exercises was to just sit where we normally sit to draw and draw the room. I still do that to this day, and it's such a relaxing practice. Lesson number 5, meeting people with different viewpoints is incredibly valuable. In my work as a financial advisor, we read a study that said the key to longevity is to interact with people that have different opinions than you. So, considering the feedback loop that we are in with social media and the news media, replaying back to us things we already like. So, if we like something on Facebook, we like something on social media, it will show us more of the same. This is a really subtle point is getting to know other people's opinions that are different from ours really helps our brain and really helps us to think of things in a new way. It's important to hear about people's opinions who are different from ours. And so, taking a class like I did, or like this one was, with such a wide variety of ages and a wide variety of viewpoints, that's really good for you. It's really healthy and really good for you. So glad I did that. I'm so glad I did that. Lesson number 6. Art applies in everyday life. Art is something we use in every single aspect of our lives, everything we do, from getting dressed in the morning to putting makeup on in the morning. And in school, I remember there was always a student who talked about math. And when we got to the part where you did word problems, there was always a student that said, when am I ever going to use this math in the future? And where I also think we use math every day of our lives, I think art is equally as important. I use art every single day of my life. And I think it was especially important over the last year. I went through the process of doing two things. One, rebranding my financial planning practice. We launched a whole podcast for that business as well. Going through and understanding all of the colors when we redid the website and how the colors relate to each other and values and perspective. And everything I learned in the drawing class has helped me like every single day in business. I'm currently in the process of creating online courses and presentations to give for public speeches. And those are highly involved with art. Once you get the copywriting done and the speech, the language for the speech done, then you have the graphics to put together. And so anyway, art is something that I use every single day of my life. Number 7. This is the best lesson that I learned out of every single lesson we've discussed so far. So each week in art class, our instructor would critique our drawings from the week before. So each week we had an assignment. We would go home over the 7 days and come back to class with the result. And we'd put them up on the wall with everyone else's, and our instructor would critique them. For anyone that has ever been to art school, which I haven't, obviously, my understanding is that the art critique can be a withering experience. It can be incredibly harsh, incredibly difficult, incredibly challenging, frustrating, all of those things. And our instructor, who had been to art school and had those experiences, was very sensitive to that. So each week when we put our drawings up on the board, he looked at them and he found something positive to say about every single piece. Every single drawing that somebody put on the wall, he found something positive. He would say, "This line is lovely. This that you did here is lovely. I love the way that you compared this to this and the proportion of this to that." He found something positive to say in every effort, no matter how little time. There were students who spent 15 minutes prior to class on their drawing. They did it in their car, they did it in the break room outside of class, even though the ones that had the littlest amount of effort, he always found something good to say. Honestly, something changed in my life from that. It's like, can you really see something positive and something good in every situation, in everything that you're looking at and doing it? Can you really see something positive? And I've always been one, to look at the bright side. I've been called Pollyannish, and I'm totally okay with that. I do believe there's a silver lining in every cloud. To see this happen in real life, to see this expression of, in no matter what he was looking at, no matter what the level of competency was, the level of effort that was put in, he always found something positive. And then when he said, and maybe try this next time, maybe you could elevate this next time. It was such a great way to talk about technically giving criticism, right? And the point of criticizing wasn't to say, you did that thing poorly. It was to say, here's how you can elevate yourself even further. You've already done a good job, but here's how you can elevate a little further. And he'd always say, I'm being picky here, but you could try this next time, or you could try that. And that was the better part of the instruction in the class, right? That was how we learned how to get our drawings better. And every single week, you could see the improvement across the board every single week. One of the things I think it did was created a level of trust between all of us as students and him as our instructor, that we trusted him to present our work, which is sometimes being vulnerable, right? Because I've never drawn anything, right? That's how we got started on this subject. I had never drawn anything ever. So I was fully expecting to be, at the bottom of the class. And because I felt safe, I felt trust, whatever effort I produced would be okay, and it wouldn't be, criticized, or it wouldn't be harshly criticized. I think I expanded more by having that experience. And if we think about how we can apply this at work, how can we apply this to our friends and our family? Sometimes we get into our relationships with the people that we love, and things aren't going the way we're wanting them to go. People aren't doing things as fast as we want them to be done, or as good as we want the work to be done. If it's someone who works for us, maybe we wish they would have done something better. And if we sit for a moment and think that every single one of us is loved by God, is created, each and every one of us has unique gifts and expressions of that, then as we approach things that aren't going the way we want to, maybe if we take a step back and say, what's the silver lining? What's the good in that situation? How can we put ourselves in that other person's shoes for a second and come at that understanding of that situation from a place of love and looking for what's going well, looking for where that person succeeded, and start there and do that first. I try to do that, and I think that is one of the neatest things I've ever learned. I really hope you enjoyed learning about the 7 life lessons that I learned from taking an art class. Now it's your turn. Please share with us in the comments below if you've ever taken a class that's impacted your life, and tell us how, and share that with us. If you'd like to learn more, we did an episode recently called 3 Ways to Build Self-Care into a Busy Schedule. You might want to check that one out. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're looking for more support on your journey and you want to join a lovely community of like-minded people, please head over to our website at shinefirsttoday.com. At the website, we have a number of resources to help guide you on your journey. I'm sending you light and love. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.